So basically, for my whole life, there have been one compliment that so much people ended up giving to me, and that is, wow, you're really good at talking. And that is something that was always very surprising to me, especially back then, because that was something that I was not good at all. Talking to me back then was like talking to an NPC in a video game. It was just really bad. Like, the only thing that I'll do is that someone will be talking to me, telling me their whole life story, or they're basically just leading the whole conversation, and I can basically only do two things, and that is one, say extremely basic response like, oh, wow, that's cool. Bro, that's crazy. Or if I'm not doing that, I'm saying like a really bad, unfunny joke. And when I mean really unfunny, my sense of humor back then was basically like moist critical millennial humor, so it wasn't really that good at all. So I'll probably just say something in a funny voice, or say a very funny joke like, I don't know, saying poo poo. Because someone my age is not supposed to say something like that, so when I do, it's funny. That was basically my sense of humor. So talking to me was really bad, but apparently that's something that I didn't know and everyone else around me didn't know, because I was just really good at listening. And even though back then when I did sit down and think about people saying that I'm good at talking, I kind of realized that it didn't make any sense, but I didn't really do anything to fix it because, hey, people were giving me compliments back then, so I must be doing something good. But now, since I'm way more older and mature and I have more life experience, and I actually unlock a skill which is called knowing how to socialize with people, I ended up realizing something, that the only reason why people called me a good listener is because I just let them talk and I was basically just a free therapist for them. So something that I think more people need to realize is that in the real world, a lot of people are just extremely self-centered, and most of the time when you're having a conversation with someone, they're only thinking about their response than what actually you're doing. They are the main character of their life, so they care more about themselves more than you. That's just the way how most people run, and that's why it's extremely rare to see someone who is like actually selfless. That's why that's something that you rarely see. And since basically talking to me, I wasn't really saying anything back, when people go and talk to me, they'll basically just yap their mind out. They'll say everything that's on their chest, and they just keep on talking about themselves over and over again. And since a lot of people in this world are really miserable, when you let them talk about themselves a lot, that's usually just equals them complaining about their life. Like, man, this ended up happening to me, my boss was really mean to me, oh man, school absolutely sucks, you know, I hate that one girl, and it will just be people yapping about their problems over and over again, and I would just sit down and listen. I was going to say I'm like a sponge, but sponges actually absorb things. I didn't. I remember this one time vividly where there was like this one girl who was talking to me, and she was talking about like some really deep stuff, like, man, my home life isn't really that good, and she basically told me her whole backstory, and at the end of her basically just venting to me, she ended up saying that, man, you're just so good at talking, Lua, and holding a conversation. I feel like I can really talk to you and you will understand me. She didn't really say it like that, but that's basically what she said, and I just ended up agreeing. I don't even remember that girl's name, and I can't even remember half the things that she was talking about because I was not paying attention at all. But hey, because I just sat down and let them yap, I guess I'm a 10 out of 10 very good at talking. And I just think that's something that's very interesting. And this is a thing that still happens to me right now, to this day. And that is something that is just wild to think about, that I have been a therapist for so much people for years of my life, and I have basically done it for free. Like, therapists, they make a lot of money. They make bank. I think that's like a 6-figure job. So I could be sitting here stupid rich, but instead, for years of my life, I have been doing it for free, and people have been using and taking advantage of me not being able to socialize for their own personal gain. And you know, that's something that kinda sucks. All jokes aside, that is something that I do feel really bad that I ended up being that for a lot of people, because a lot of them ended up telling me like very personal things that's very important to them across my life, and I didn't really care at all, and I could barely remember anything that they told me, which is just very sad to think about, because they really thought that I was someone that they could trust, when in realistically I just wasn't. I was just someone who wasn't able to socialize. But anyway, that's something that I ended up realizing, and I just wanted to go and yap about it. So if you're sitting here right now and you just want people to automatically like you more, just listen to them talk. Just sit down and become a punching bag for them complaining. You don't even have to listen, and they'll just say you're good at talking. Anyway, that's it. My name is Lua. This is just something that I want to talk about. You have a good day or night.